I ran away, and I am not going back.
And now for the adventures of the White Privilege Boy. All right there now, Timmy. I know you're a teenager, but if I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. You can't park your vehicle faced into oncoming traffic. Come on, let's move.
Well, gee, officer, I'm sure sorry. Can I just go back to my car?
No, I want you to follow my instructions. Either get down on the ground or follow me away from the vehicle.
But, officer, can't I just get my PCP?
No, well, usually I'd say no, but you can make it quick. Come on, get on out of here, you white rascal.
Oh, boy, I'm in a free base.
Oh, those boys. What pickle will they find themselves in next? Stay tuned for next week's installment of Adventures of the White Privilege Boys. Join Mug Club today for $89 annually, or try it mugless for $9 a month. You can sign up at louderwithcredit.com/mugclub for the entire catalog, including Nick DiPaolo, Brian Callen, the Hodge Twins, Mr. Guns and Gear, and of course, Alex Jones, along with 100% more of this show.
Let me tell you about that black thing. That ain't no myth. I was in between Lorenzo Bollier, and then there was another guy, Davey Johnson, literally last name Johnson. Even for black guys, we're like, what the f***? He used to go in the shower last because he didn't want us to f***ing joke him up. Imagine having a dick so big you don't want people to pick on you for it.
Oh, woe is me.
Yeah, why exactly? Woe is you.
He's the OG. He has his own show here in Mug Club, Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern. Nick DiPaolo. That's what we call the expedited sip, because we have so much to get to today. You'd think it's a slow news week, but before I get to anything, look, it's the professional fornicator of Chinese spies, Eric Swalwell. Question of the day: how is that man still alive, considering the treason? I don't understand. At the very least, in another workplace, it would be sexual harassment, racial discrimination, let alone a threat to national security. It just seems like we're murky on the rule book. But let's bring up the rundown. Ashley Biden's diary has been confirmed to be real again and again and again. And there's another BS jobs report that has come out. This administration really, really wants you to think the economy is doing well. I'll give you 3 key numbers here today, 3 key facts that let you know why your lying eyes and ears are telling you the truth. Dexter Reed is now being made into George Floyd 2.0. Man who was shot by police officers. I know what you'll hear, police officers fired 90 some odd shots, which sounds excessive, but keep in mind they also did that with an acorn. So it may not be racially motivated. And President Donald Trump has made Chick-Fil-A great again, and also we explain why he is winning quite a bit of the votes of color. So if at any point today, while we're on YouTube, you see this, head on over to Rumble. It's a live show, weekdays 10 a.m. Eastern, and we are gearing up for a mega election stream again, before which I have no doubt we will be suspended on YouTube so they can prevent it being the biggest election stream of all time. All right, CEO Cap Morgan is not here because he just had a child, but he came in yesterday because he needed a break. Yep, Mrs. Morgan. This is where he was, just in case you didn't know. But we have Josh Firestine in the seat. Thank him for his service. He'll be at the Funny Bone, Syracuse, New York, Friday, April 12th. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Not a big Chick-fil-A guy.
It's all right.
Not a big Chick-fil-A guy, but Trump's into it, so.
Yeah, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with Chick-fil-A. Just people go nuts for it.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, they're too friendly.
That's not my primary complaint.
Don't ask me how I'm doing.
Okay.
Just give me the chicken. Put it in my face.
If you don't like them being friendly, just go to Popeyes. Now.
Yeah.
And in third chair, I don't know, are we doing both theme songs?
I got both, yeah.
All right, so first off, you know him, you love him, you watch him 5 p.m. every day here on Mug Club. May 11th, he's going to be in Red Bank, New Jersey. See all of his dates at nickdip.com. The OG, funniest man alive, Nick DiPaolo. How are you?
I'm doing great. Been in the business 37 years, and I'm in the third chair, but everything's good.
Well, it's the third chair is the most important chair. It's a joke. Well, you could be in fourth chair, which is my old man. I came from his loins. Pops Crowder.
It's a better. I think.
Holy shit, Mark Furman.
He was sitting on that before the show. I was like, I got a reference, but I'm not going to spoil it.
But Furman wasn't racist.
Oh, jeez.
Good Lord,
That's a good point. It separates the two.
Yeah.
You've been in the business 37 years yet. I'm the oldest guy in the room.
I know.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I think it's right, although you wouldn't be able to tell by him fidgeting with his headphones for 20 minutes.
Well, you guys got to
Like a
set
V.
it. You guys got to set it on half for some reason. The volume, you fuck stains.
All right. I'm sure I fit the YouTube dub. Hey, by the way, before we get into anything, yesterday the Japanese Prime Minister Kishida Fumio, I think that's how it's pronounced. It's guttural. He visited the White House, and of course, former Vice President Biden was an embarrassment. It brings us to This Week in Biden.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Prime Minister is going to travel to North Carolina tomorrow to visit that project. Don't stay. Including the Senkaku Islands is unwavering. Third, the next question. Who do I call on next? Hang on a second. I got my list here. Hang on. I apologize. We've agreed that we would, number one, have personal contact with one another whenever we wanted to discuss anything, so there'd be nothing slips between, as they say, between the cup and the lip. Elect me. I'm in the 20th century, 21st century.
Why
didn't everybody holler at once?
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
He was lucid while he was insulting.
I know. They start talking. You can see.
He wanted to commit Sudoku, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
No, he's not playing math crosswords.
Sudoku. Yes.
Yeah, whatever it's called.
Seppuku.
Yeah.
But the principle remains.
Harry Carey.
Either way, he's doing something that Biden wouldn't have the force to do, either intellectually or physically.
Not a joke.
He would try and cut him. He would try and stab himself to get a paper cut. Like,
He
And
sounded like
that's
a
the other thing about him. He's the only president who has to say after he makes a statement, it's not a joke.
is that right? Yeah.
What does that tell you about? Nobody takes you serious, shithead.
Of course. No. Yes. Exactly right.
He sounded like a substitute teacher at the end there. He's like, no, not all at once.
Yeah.
Literally.
No, once. Just because I'm here, it's not a day off.
Well, that's when he was getting pissed.
Yes.
It's not a
He was
joke.
cranky.
He definitely
old
was.
lady.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. By the way, what's not a joke? We have the spring sale at crowdershop.com. Use the promo code SPRING10 and you get $10 off your next order. As you know, we have very few sponsors here at the show. It's Mug Club and the shop.
Perfect.
Okay. Let's go on to Ashley Biden, this diary. Now, I know that it feels like remedial, but we have to go through this because it's trending everywhere, which tells you that a lot of people in this country have no idea that former Vice President Joe Biden is a child molester. So, that brings us to, and did you know, you can comment below, did you know that this was 100% confirmed already? And I'll show you a clip in case you think that I'm lying. And it's pretty straightforward. And by that, I mean, it's literally Ashley Biden saying, yeah, it's my diary. So we're going to show that in a little bit. But first, let's go back to then. The diary, when it came out, and resulted in James O'Keefe's house being raided, it was labeled misinformation. Here's a collage. All the references are available at louderwithcrowder.com. We'll have a link in the sidebar so you don't let this be memory hold. Here's from Business Insider. Joe Rogan lets Alex Jones spread outlandish conspiracy theories on his podcast this week. The Insider has not independently verified the legitimacy of the diary, and neither has any other media outlet. The PolitiFact headline, or one of their bylines, whatever it is that they wrote, said the FBI did not confirm any contents of Ashley Biden's diary because they didn't try to confirm anything. And keep in mind, there's a reason why they may not want to confirm this, because it included excerpts like, I was hypersexualized at a young age, she wrote. Was I molested? I think so. That seems like you were. You're not quite taking a stab at it. Showers with my dad, probably not appropriate. she wrote. And this is what happened. The media was saying, well, this isn't necessarily legitimate. And James O'Keefe, his house was raided. Remember, Giuliani's apartment or office was raided, and they took everything but the Hunter Biden laptop. Do not trust your three-letter agencies. I will not vote for anyone who doesn't promise to disband or destroy them in some capacity. That's kind of my litmus test, that and the border. I would vote for Beelzebub if he was going to protect our border and disband the FBI. That's hyperbole, just to be clear. But I would vote for Legion at this point. You're saying, how do we know it's legitimate? Well, we have new information, but this isn't new. This is from October 8th, 2020, Ashley Biden.
I am Ashley Biden. It is my stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I don't know if it wouldn't really be a great court drama.
Get to the bottom of this.
Hey, I present to you exhibit only. Are we done here? Are we done? It's hers because she said it. So here's the thing now. Amy Harris, the woman who found Ashley Biden's diary, she's been sentenced. This comes from the New York Times, the same places who said, we don't know if it's real or not. Woman sentenced to month in prison over theft of Ashley Biden's diary. Oh, now we're clear on it. CNN, Florida woman who stole Ashley Biden's diary in 2020 sentenced to 1 month in jail. NBC, Florida woman is sentenced to a month in jail for selling Biden's daughter's diary. Now, there is no real new information right now. They simply were trying to get away with the lie when they believed that they could. And now they just skip past it, hope that you don't remember it, and say, well, it's the woman's fault. Let's blame the messenger. And by the way, some say that the legitimacy of Joe Biden's diary remains to be confirmed. Now, that one seems...
Did we blur a cartoon?
We blurred a cartoon.
Was he pissing on an ant?
I don't think he was pissing. I think he was just hard.
It's difficult. It's difficult to operate the shower because of the water pressure.
Right, yeah.
Look like a dog skeleton.
And this is the thing, right? It doesn't stop. Stop. I wasn't proud of it the first time.
We need more.
So good.
Daddy's favorite day.
Irish Spring.
Every day is Daddy's favorite
It's the only
day.
good decision you ever made, let's be honest. Go ahead.
I might be on a list somewhere. I stole my sister's diary when I was a kid. They might put me in prison.
Really?
You still got it, John?
Yeah.
I still got it, yeah. It says, someday I hope I try crystal meth. Mission accomplished.
Dare to dream.
We all have our wins. So
I think every guy that's had a sister would steal diaries. I knew how to navigate
Right.
that lock. My brother and I knew how to get into that.
yeah, but
What a
you were,
goofy crime. What a goofy, thing to be put in prison for.
yeah. Well, you were a sociopath, though,
That's
Pops
right.
Grutter. You would put a hot curling iron in the foot of your sister's bed and make it so she didn't know it was in there.
That was my brother.
That's what she was
I
writing
did
about.
the same thing. It wasn't her foot, though. Wow. What?
Good Lord.
Who are you, Ron Everett?
That's a deep cut. Sorry, he became Cahuenga and created
I'm sorry.
Kwanzaa. Yeah, he abused women with curling irons, soldering irons.
Who did?
Yeah, the guy who created Kwanzaa.
I didn't invent it?
No, you didn't. But I tell you what, you are following in the footsteps of giants before you.
Oh, my God.
So here's the thing. It doesn't exist in a vacuum. While you have the media, they bury these scandals with the Hunter Biden laptop, no matter what you believe as far as the election, if nothing, it is irrefutable that would have changed the election. Donald Trump is absolutely still president, period. If people knew that the Hunter Biden laptop was legitimate, which we now know beyond any shadow of a doubt, there's nothing else that's needed. But they bury every single scandal from the left. And I repeat myself, the media is the left. And at the same time, they're happy to continually peddle lies about Donald Trump. Obviously, you have the Russia collusion. You have Charlottesville, where they say he praised neo-Nazis when he literally said, I'm condemning neo-Nazis and white supremacists totally. They have the January 6th insurrection. You may not even remember this. There was the Pissgate, where people said that he had Russian prostitutes peeing on furniture. There was also a scandal, one point in time, where they said they had B-roll of him repeatedly saying the N-word at Celebrity Apprentice, which one does when they award the grand prize to Arsenio Hall.
And let's not release it either.
Let's not release it. Let's just say it. Nah, the Ashley Biden diary where she talks about her father showering with her and being molested, which, gosh, if taken in tandem with Hunter Biden's laptop that shows him allegedly sexually sending explicit messages to underage girls, including, by the way, his niece, and smoking crack, and implicating the president of the United States, former vice president. All of this would seem like it's relevant. And instead, let's focus on tapes that don't exist and scandals that never happened with Donald Trump. Same thing will happen with the jobs report. We'll get to that in a second. But let's give you some good news. President Trump, some people call him former president. Some people call him sitting president. I call him sitting president. Okay?
Absolutely.
Well, you don't have to. You don't have to. The choice is yours. So Wednesday, President Trump went to an Atlanta Chick-Fil-A. And I don't know if you know this, the people there loved it.
He's doing the hands there.
He's doing the hands there.
It's not about getting rich, but
Donald Trump?
Yeah, we love Donald Trump.
You do?
hell yeah.
Love Donald Trump. How you doing, man? That's the president, man.
The captions are wrong.
Now, when we say it, we're white supremacists.
This is Clark Atlanta, this is Spelman, this is Morehouse, this is Morris Brown, they all say that. I don't care what the media tells you. Mr.
Wow.
Trump. We support you.
That is.
Okay, 4 p.m. We've been 4 p.m.
Come here, let me give you a hug.
Please
What a racist.
He saw them bags.
Let me give you a hug. I want to see if you smell like coconut oil and razor pump cream.
You know,
She doesn't smell half bad.
You know, the best part of that story they didn't tell you know who served them? Stacey Abrams.
Yes.
I'm glad she got a job.
Unfortunately, afterward, he was immediately shot at Popeyes. It's a zag. It's a zag. Now,
I think Matt needs
didn't expect Lee Harvey Oswald at Popeyes. If you expected something different, that's a statement on you. You heard Popeyes Atlanta and you made your own presumptions. And you know what? You need to check yourself, but I'm glad that we corrected it. Let's build some momentum with that, okay? So this is why you see the voting base changing with Donald Trump. He's changing the map. He's changing demographics in a lot of ways. Let's compare this. Let's contrast it with how former Vice President Biden talks about black voters.
You have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
They're going to put you all back in chains.
I'm like the token black, mainstream freaking. That's a story. We already have a nigger mayor. We don't need any more nigger big shots.
It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up my wife.
Corn Pop was a bad
Molest my daughter.
and he ran a bunch of bad boys.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Wow. That is a montage right there. Where do you begin?
I mean, I don't even know if a black person, when he's saying, they're going to beat up my wife, I don't even know if a black person would have the gall to say, what do you mean they? At that point, like, we know. We know exactly what he means.
If the mainstream media showed that just once, like if that was on Good Morning America,
right,
Trump would win tomorrow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That montage that you put together.
Yeah. Thank you.
Honestly.
Michael Strahan should lead in with that again.
Exactly.
I want to show you guys something.
He's not Mike Tyson. He just has a guess.
There's similarities. That's all I'm saying.
He's got Letterman's teeth.
If you showed that montage to black people, they'd be like, where'd that motherfucker get a lead pipe? What is you playing Clue? He cut him
It's Tyrone in the kitchen.
So this explains why there's some voting trends among black Americans. I don't even know this. Trump got 8% of them in 2016, 12% in 2020. Right now, he's up to 20%. And by the way, he's also winning Latinos. So not only that montage, but it makes sense if you understand the beliefs in the black community, the American black community. As far as faith, 97% of black adults believe in God or some form therein. As far as voting, it's about 70% are in favor of voter ID. As far as trans issues, 68% of black Americans believe that you are the sex you were born with. You know, science. So this is the issue here is I'm not saying that Republicans are going to be winning the black vote, but just reducing the losing margins to this extent is significant. And then when you add up changing the voting of Hispanic voters, where he's winning Hispanic voters, Republicans are winning Hispanic voters. And then when you look at younger voters, Gen Z, how they are actually breaking, which never happens. White, black, Hispanic, more for President Trump, more for Republicans than ever in history. I understand people who say demographics are destiny, but what they mean is illegal voters who are being brought in from the third world and are basically having their votes purchased. People who have lived here for a long time, black, brown, yellow, white, they're starting to wake up. And it's your responsibility to just don't give up. Have these conversations and don't buy into the divisiveness. We'll link this in the description. That's why we do black and white and the gray issues here. It dawned on me. I was watching CNN and like MSNBC. I said, there's never been a group of people who are so overrepresented in media than black Americans today without being represented at all. In the sense that if you were like to look at the percentage, it's like, 35% of CNN, and they're black, but it's Joy Reid and it's Van Jones. And I'm sitting there because, again, I've been in green rooms and stuff with comics. I'm like, the shit they're saying that this is what the black community is bothered. Like, that's not at all what I hear.
No. You know what I said? They wanted to be in control.
Yeah.
If it's not true.
Also, I left with a really nice weave.
Where was that?
It was at a barbershop. And then we did a few. It was great. I was the only white person surrounded by black people. And guess what? You can have conversations. I was more comfortable speaking with them about these issues than in a room full of white women, because as long as they know you don't, meaning black people, as long as black people know that you don't hate them, guess what? They appreciate authenticity. They're okay with jokes here and there. They're okay with highlighting your differences. They're okay with you being self-deprecating and saying, you know what, though, this is one thing I don't understand about the black community. Have these conversations and just don't absolve yourself by giving up on it. Yes.
I'm sorry. While we're on the subject, I just want to, research just passed me this note. O.J. Simpson just died.
Really?
Yeah.
O.J. Simpson just died?
I'll never forget where I was.
Well, I don't know if we say another one taken too soon.
Who done it?
Yep. We're back to Clue.
Where'd they find him?
So the search goes on.
In the kitchen with
yes,
the lead
pipe? Search goes on.
Hey, I got to, what did you say, Pops? I'm sorry.
He said, so the search goes on. I guess we'll never know.
His heart quit.
He had a heart?
I don't know. I was told he did.
Look. Who among us has not stabbed our wife and live-in boyfriend? Cast the first white glove.
Can confirm the juice is no longer loose.
Whoa. Is it sad? Of course it's sad when anyone, but it is O.J. What did you expect us to just have a memorial here? It's O.J. Simpson. He killed people.
And was a great running back.
He was a great running back.
He was a great running back.
Now he's running to the light.
It's another distraction by the government.
Oh, come on.
We're going to be talking about this for the next goddamn 10 days.
We're not going to be talking.
Not here. I'm saying.
We've gotten it out of our system. Do you have anything about OJ? Anything you?
I'm very sad.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I figured.
I don't get along with my wife. Go ahead.
I don't think he did.
He and Caitlyn Jenner were two of the best athletes of that era.
It's true.
That's true. And look how they both ended up.
Yep.
Oh, they both killed a guy.
That's true.
Killed someone.
Well done, my friend.
That's right. Caitlyn did. I was going to say Bruce did, but no, Caitlyn did.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. As soon as he became a woman, it was she ran somebody over.
That's what I love. He's not really. Bruce is not a woman.
No.
To me, it's Bruce Jenner in drag.
Yeah.
He's still got the hairy arms and lipstick and a wig. I can't take him. He doesn't even try to change his voice. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, Tucker. I think that this is ridiculous. It's gone, and he's with lipstick and big fake tits. The trans movement has gone too far.
And what does he have in common with Tucker's name? I forget that.
That was what my nickname in college. Tucker. I used to tuck her. They'd call me Tucker. Well, look, OJ, rest in peace. Okay.
God.
But come on, if you're going to take a guarantee, probably Hitler, Stalin, OJ.
Instead of a hearse, you think they got his body in a white Bronco? Just throw it in the back, loose.
All the poppets are going to
Every time he takes a left, he's banging.
It's like Lady Di's funeral is preceded by like Palominos and then just a white Bronco.
Yeah. Cowling driving it.
Arabian horses.
Fucking pit bulls.
High stepping Arabians with a Bronco.
Bunch of pit bulls.
No.
It can't be this new version of Bronco. It's got to be the vintage.
Oh, the new version.
Absolutely. No, it's got to be that one, and he's just flopping around in there.
I don't trust people who drive the new Bronco. It makes me question their judgment.
Are they going to bury him with the glove? Sorry, I thought you might want your property back.
Yeah, where's that Heisman?
It's that and his, whatever, his 5-iron. Okay. Hey, speaking of something really sad, I don't know if you know this, we're now dealing with George Floyd 2.0. It's been almost 4 years since George Floyd was fatally killed by police officers. Died of a massive fentanyl and speed overdose. But we have the same story repeating itself right now. March 21st, the Chicago police, they shot and killed. This is the headline. They say shot and killed a black man, 26-year-old man named Dexter Reed. Okay. There is some information here, and I want to be clear. I've said this. I don't unilaterally back the blue because there is a lot that we need to see as far as police reform, namely better training. If you have to go to your firearm because you have no other physical capabilities or tools at your disposal to subdue somebody, you're going to panic. And that certainly seems like it happened here. But to make that jump, you can say, all right, and in this case, it's not true. This person was pulled over with cause. This person was a criminal. This person shot at police officers, and the police officers shot back. But you could even say, all right, maybe someone was pulled over without good reason. Sure. You could maybe say in another scenario, these police officers were poorly trained. They panicked. We need to make police officers less reactive. Absolutely. But to accept those premises here and say, therefore, these police officers in Chicago shot a man because he was black. No, you have to accept all of those to accept the narrative that the media is pushing out there. And by the way, you should notice they're not saying unarmed black man on this one. They've lied about that in the past and said unarmed when they were in fact armed. But in this case, it's so clear they just avoid it altogether. So a 26-year-old named Dexter Reed shot by police. Okay. The mayor, Brandon Johnson, immediately goes to race.
Police firing 96 shots in 41 seconds at one man in a deadly traffic stop last month that killed 26-year-old Dexter Reed. Newly released body cam video shows what led to this all. Police say they pulled Reed over for not wearing a
showing someone's
seatbelt.
house.
When officers approached his SUV, this situation quickly escalated.
As mayor and as a father raising a family,
Jesus Christ,
including 2 black boys on the west side of Chicago,
here it comes.
I am personally devastated to see yet another young black man lose his life during an interaction with the police.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Hopefully your son doesn't open fire on police repeatedly. Maybe that's a relevant piece of information. If you believe your sons will, if you believe that your children will, then they're at greater risk. If they don't, they're actually at lower risk than white Americans. And we'll get those stats for you in just a second. Let's go through the claims that you may be hearing out in the media definitively and the truth. Here's the claim that Reed is the latest victim in senseless police brutality and or racism.
He had just bought his new car 3 days before that, and he was just riding around in his car. He said, "Mom, I'm going for a ride," and they killed him.
All right, everyone, careful. Don't say that it looks like someone from Run DMC in a Party City wig.
I won't.
Now, here are the media headlines. They say deadly Chicago traffic stop where police fired 96 shots raises serious questions about use of force. Seatbelt violation ends with black man dead in Chicago after cops fired nearly 100 bullets. Okay, here's the truth. And there are a couple of claims there, right? Just a seatbelt violation. Oh, they just opened fire on a black man. Almost 100 bullets. Some of those things are true. Some of them are not. Here's a truth that you really need to know. The body cam footage clearly shows that Reed repeatedly fired at police officers first.
Roll the windows down. Roll the window down, man.
Now, some reports say 11 shots. We counted 8. Comment below what you hear.
Roll this one down. Roll that one down, too. Hey, don't roll the window up. Don't roll the window up. Okay.
He's rolling it up because he's about to shoot them.
Unlock the doors now. Unlock the doors now. Unlock the doors now. Open the door now. Open the door now. Open the the doorknob! 1164 David, shots fired! Shots fired! Hey! Hey! Shots fired!
It's not good cover.
No, it's not.
10-1!
She also decided to find better cover with a cheese grater. So hold on a second. And there's another security camera angle as well. They say lower the window. All right, he doesn't. He raises the window. They say open the door. Now, I don't know if you know this. The reason that they ask someone to lower the window and the reason they ask someone to open the door in scenarios like this is particularly if they are concerned that someone may have a weapon, because at this point they're trying to check for a weapon. Their concern is that they may be shot. So they were actually going through this protocol to try and ensure that he didn't have a gun and wasn't going to shoot them. And he did those things. It's why the protocols are in place. Here's another angle from a neighbor's, I think, like a Ring security camera. Here you go. And now you hear the shots. So again, we haven't been able to corroborate the number of shots. I've read reports that say 11. We counted 8 or 9. Please comment below and let us know what you hear. This information isn't out right now or wasn't this morning. We're still looking for it. Here's another key truth. The seatbelt violation, they told you. No, the truth is that Reed was out on pretrial release after being charged in 2023 with 3 counts of aggravated unlawful use of a weapon and 1 count on pretrial release for what seem to be violent crimes, or certainly crimes that are related to violence, right? Having these unlawful use of a weapon. And I want to make sure I have this aggravated unlawful use of a weapon. You're pulling them over. This person is non-compliant. This person probably knows that if they actually comply with police, they're going to jail. Could you please roll down your window? No. Could you please open your door? No. Bang, 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 bang. You can talk about the 96 shots being an overreaction, but that doesn't make it about race. There is an argument to be made, and this is the problem. Like Nick was just saying, a distraction, OJ, people be talking about that. This ends up being a distraction where you don't actually talk about the things that need to be improved with the police force. There's a recruitment shortfall. Physical fitness standards have gone down. People don't want to go into the job. A lot of them are not capable of resolving a situation, de-escalating with any tool other than a gun. They want to make it about race. And it's a lie. Let me give you a few statistics that you need to keep in your back pocket. We make all these references publicly available. Police officers these are irrefutable, are 18.5 times more likely to be killed by a black suspect than killing a black suspect. 18.5 times more likely. Now, something else, black Americans, 23% less likely to be shot by police than white Americans. And the Harvard professor, who actually was the one, he was ostracized for this study, to be clear. And this is something else they don't tell you.
And he did it twice. He did it over again.
He did it over again.
Right.
And we had stats before that people didn't like to hear. They would always say, unarmed black man, unarmed black man, unarmed black man. Well, here's the thing. We always knew this, that armed black men were less likely to be shot than armed white men, to be clear. Unarmed black men were more likely to be shot by police than unarmed white men. What they didn't tell you is that unarmed black men are exponentially more likely to commit violence against a police officer. Doesn't mean it's because of melanin, but the stats affect it. Why would there be a discrepancy between armed and unarmed? So they would always go with unarmed black men. It doesn't matter. The target keeps moving. This man wasn't unarmed. This man shot at the police. And they're going to make it about race anyway. And if they want to make it about race, it ignores the problem of, do I think that 96 shots is excess? I don't know. Certainly sounds like it could be. I think that police overreact all the time. I actually support chokeholds. I support using tasers. I support having more non-lethal tools, which, by the way, the left completely opposes at every single step. So they're left with really nothing but a gun. Or in the UK, billy clubs, because they're glorified truancy officers. You can say it was an overreaction, but to say it was an overreaction just because of his skin color, okay? Police also did the exact same thing with an acorn.
Shots fired!
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Looks like the same video.
I know.
That was an acorn falling on the truck.
What do they got against white cars?
I'm hit, he says.
One of the funniest clips ever. You can go back and watch it. Yeah, Nick.
What are all these high-profile cop shooting young black men? What do they all have in common? All of them, 150%.
Drugs or no dad?
What?
Drugs or no dad?
No. Well, yes, that too. What? You went way deeper than I did.
I shouldn't have answered.
No, none of them comply with the police's demands.
Yep. Right.
Okay, it starts there.
Yeah.
And would you feel better if they only shot him 14 times?
Right.
What the fuck's the difference after that? I don't care if it's 11,000 bullets.
Right.
We keep fucking focusing on the wrong thing.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
and he's raising his complete blackout window.
Yes.
Which are illegal.
What? No. Are they
Wants
illegal?
to
Because I
consider-
don't see cars without tinted windows anywhere anymore.
No, in the front, yeah, complete blackout. He knew he could hide, wouldn't open the door.
But where are they illegal? I want to know.
They are illegal, but people do it anyway.
It's all I see in Savannah. It is. Everything's tinted.
Didn't the mom with the orange hair say he was happy about his new car?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The front door was already caved in.
I know.
That's a good point. Could you play the clip of the Run DMC cover?
I like the way she fell back like Prince when he was inducted.
Well, hold on a second. Play her clip again. Play her clip again.
Sorry.
Okay. Play her clip again. That's a good catch. I didn't even realize that.
I think that. See, I want to see the full clip because I think that they might have rammed him to stop him because he's stopped not in a random spot. He's kind of in the intersection, and then the one car is like the one police car is because there's another angle of this video, and one police car is blocking the car. When he tried to take off after shooting, he couldn't take off because it's being blocked, and there's another car behind him. I think that because there's four officers.
They painted him or something?
I think they might have ran the plates or something. There's got to be more to this than just I see he doesn't have a seatbelt.
Right.
Let's pull him over. And then because you said there's the other.
Well, they make it sound again. The only information we have is it's a seatbelt violation. In which case they run his plates. Go. This guy's a violent criminal.
Why are there ever four officers on a standard seat? Like that's. And then
maybe they pulled him over, called for backup because this guy is out on pretrial because of 3 violent assault charges.
Once again, you don't know where the recording starts. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
But that is a good point. Play the Flava Flav again.
He had just bought his new car 3 days
That's a Tootsie
before
Pop.
that. And he was just riding around in his car.
No, he wasn't.
Said, Mom, going
Liar.
for a ride.
Comes the fainting.
And they killed him.
She sounds like Dave Chappelle.
Falls back like James Brown getting off stage.
The brother just bought a Ford Escape.
New car, old gun.
That's.
I can't
stand. That's what it seems like. I'm just saying. Take it up with them. Now,
I'll tell you, when I get stopped, it's 10-2, and I don't fumble for my license. Do you?
No. I put if it's night, I put the light on.
Yep.
I put my hands on the wheel, and I throw the coke out the window.
But you don't go grappling in your pocket for your wallet or anything. Any movement.
I like to fuck with the cops.
Pops Crowder, you are a smartass.
No,
we did a change. Yes, we did. We did a change my mind. True story. We did a change my mind at SMU. We were driving back, and the cop pulls us over. And he goes, "Do you know that? You know how fast you're going?" I think he said, "I don't know. I was going maybe like 35." He said, "In a school zone?" And Pops Crowder goes, "At a university?" And he's like, "Oh, you think you're funny?" He's like, "Yeah, a little bit." Yeah, he didn't get a warning. So,
he was shot 96 times.
Yes, exactly.
Rubber bullets, though, because I'm a white guy.
What? Look like Furman. You should have just said that.
Yes.
96
Who I
shots,
am.
4 cops.
But this is where we are. Yeah, and then so we see her saying he just bought the new car. Now I'll show the clip again where it's caved into the side.
See how he's blocking the car? There's a car behind them.
I don't think they would have rammed him for a seatbelt.
I don't think so either.
It would look worse than that.
Yeah, it would look worse than that.
It's got to be more than.
So within 3 days, new car. Unless he bought it, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, people buy some beat up cars sometimes.
Maybe he's thrifty.
Sure,
He bought a salvage title.
Sure.
True.
Could be. Now it's definitely a salvage title.
I've never seen a black and a dented car before. What are you guys debating?
I don't. You know what? That's wwhy it's such a mystery.
All I was missing was duct tape on the fucking windshield.
That's only because rusty cars don't exist anymore.
Yes, that's true.
Good point.
And by the way, none of this happens if we get canceled, which at some point we will be. Without your support, Mug Club, $89 annually, $9 a month. You can go mugless. You get this show. You get a whole other hour show. Today it's Chat Thursday. You get Nick DiPaolo's show. Weekdays at 5. You get Alex Jones on Friday. You get Mr. Guns and Gear as a contributor. You get Brian Callen. You get the Hodge Twins, and of course the Mug Club Undercover Unit, who have some great projects in the works right now. Let's not allow ourselves to be distracted by, and you know what? I think there are more and more black people who aren't necessarily buying it, as you see by the feedback there with Donald Trump, not only at the Chick-Fil-A, but you see statistically. Let's go to.
Don't you think this story goes away, though? I mean, with all the spin, I think it doesn't have any left.
Oh, it ends up being one that goes away, but they'll toss the name in Dexter Reed.
They'll bring it back.
George Floyd,
that's right. That's
Michael Brown, Trayvon, Dexter Reed, and you go, well, hold on a second. Almost all of those are wrong, but that one's really wrong. They're racist.
That's right. Yeah.
One of these days, everyone's got to come together and get a common person to hate. You gotta.
Yes. Yeah. I'd suggest
he just died.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And how did you work Mark Furman in? Huh? What timing? That's right.
I know.
Talk about. I mean,
it's providential.
The same day,
because even God is upset with us. So
weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Speaking of statistics,
the Kardashians are like, who
minutes later?
Bring up somebody who worked with Rosie O'Donnell.
Here's another statistical anomaly for you. Well, not anomaly. It's just a lie. So there's another jobs report that has come out. And, of course, the media is trying to spin this. Going to give you a few key fast facts. Comment below. Pause it. Don't cheat. See if you know what they are. They're going to try and say, oh, jobs are going up. Inflation's going up. No, it's not true. Just a little bit of context illuminates the subject. They are trying to spin it, but things look, as far as the inflation report this March, pretty bad.
The Consumer Price Index for March rose at an annual rate of 3.5%, and that is the biggest jump in 6 months. In tonight's Money Watch, CBS's Jolene Kent shows us how consumers are feeling the pinch.
Oh.
For the third straight month, prices have gone up more than expected, from the rising cost of car insurance and repairs.
She's thinking I could be a war correspondent
every week.
Do you know how much one of these costs? $2 freaking.
This was $200.
We supposed to skip the power bill this month so we can buy groceries, or the mortgage?
So here's the thing.
Bullshit.
Even CBS had a tough time with that. Doesn't stop the left from trying to gaslight you, this administration. And tomorrow they'll be doing their best at CNN, at MSNBC, at New York Post, at New York Times, at Washington Post. They'll be trying to say, actually, no, this is good. And of course, the White House will put out some tweets, Instagram posts, maybe at La Casa Blanca, because they're international, to try and tell you that things are actually really good. Okay, here's a claim that you'll hear them make. I'll get to why it's untrue. Here is Yellen saying that inflation is it's actually down.
I think we can feel great about our economy. Inflation's coming down, labor supply is up, and we're seeing some of the pressures we might worry about coming from the labor market impacting inflation. They're subsiding.
So here's the truth.
Larry Fine.
So infantile.
The truth, inflation is actually way worse than even they expected and were hoping for. The CPI, the Consumer Price Index, it's been up, I think it's 3.5% in March. Now, you know this, the ideal inflation rate they will tell you is about 2%. So let's give you some comparisons here as far as months above that 3% threshold. Biden, 36 months. That's, I don't know if you're doing the math, like all of them. President Trump, 0 months. That's, if you round it, that means none. And everything is more expensive. To give you an idea, Americans now need an extra $12,438 per year to maintain the exact same standard of living in January 2021. And we'll give you some more context as far as purchasing power, your income. But their claim, inflation is down. No, it's not. It's worse than expected, and it is the worst inflation that we have experienced in our lifetime. If you're too young to have been alive for Jimmy Carter, this is as bad or worse. Here's another claim that they make. They'll try and soften the blow and say, well, actually, the good news is we added 300,000 jobs in March.
The U.S. economy added a more than expected 303,000 jobs.
Oops, we did it again. 303,000. The labor market is not falling down.
Non-farm payrolls, a whopping 303,000.
The March jobs report beat expectations by 100,000 jobs. All good news for a president running for re-election.
It is a jobs report that confirms U.S. economic exceptionalism.
Right now, this country is nothing short of an economic miracle.
Oh, great. Jesus. Jim Cramer. We'll get into why none of this is accurate, but the world of economics it's confusing. And so sometimes you do need a Jim Cramer or Josh Kramer to talk us through it. We have just that.
Hey, I'm Firestine. Welcome to Bad Money, friends. I'm just here to make you a little bit of money. But hey, my job's not just to entertain you, but also to educate you. So call me at 555-5555 or tweet me at WhoCares69. Now, you've seen the jobs report. Get all that! You hear that? Huh? Ring, ring. That's the sound of inflation calling, telling you you're Prices are high, but the Biden administration is optimistic about their recent jobs report, boasting a bullish job market. But I've got one question for you. Bullish or bullshit? Bullshit! Biden claims to have created 15 million jobs since taking office. You see these eggs? These eggs are like jobs. I got 12 of them. I shouldn't have done that. I can't afford those eggs. Same as this flour. You see this flour? This flour is like inflation, soaking up all my damn money. Throw in some sugar, a pinch of illegal immigration, and a dash of DEI, and you've got yourself a cake and a failing economy. Yeah! You know the old saying, can't have your cake and eat it too. Now on to my next job. I've got a cake to deliver. This has been Bad Money. Call me if you have any job openings.
Well, I feel like I have a better understanding.
Yeah, well, it's a confusing world out there.
Yeah, it is.
I just want to help.
There's value, and it makes it relatable to me. Because I too like a cake.
It's the old cake analogy.
So, their claim, we've added 300,000 jobs. Here's the truth. The 300,000 jobs, okay, let me give you some context. 225,000 are led by people with second part-time jobs. 71,000 are government jobs. We actually lost full-time jobs in March when you look especially at the private sector. We lost 6,000 jobs in March. Look, the idea of government jobs, it's a lie. It's not even a new lie. We'll get to that in a second. There have been a few new full-time jobs, like the guy who tapes Biden's eyes open. I don't know that that's something you can replicate. It's positively angelic in that context.
That guy's an American hero, okay?
This is something, and you remember this, Pops Crowder, when Barack Obama had the stimulus bill. Remember, shovel-ready jobs. They said the same. Shovel-ready jobs. There was a $787 billion stimulus package, which I think with inflation now would be, well over $1 trillion. Unemployment rate stayed at 9%. Right? What he ended up saying is, well, shovel-ready was not as shovel-ready as we maybe expected, Barack Obama. He said that in 2011. He said, shovel-ready may not be as shovel-ready as, but don't get all wee-weed up. And people said, that's not a phrase. It's a phrase in the South. I said, it's not a phrase in the South whatsoever. In Kenya.
In Hawaii?
Sure. But shovel-ready, all this is, hey, you know what increases jobs? Adding over 70,000 new employees to the IRS. Does that help the economy? All it is taking, it makes inflation worse because you have to print more money to pay some of these federal workers, or you have to increase taxes, which makes less of that money readily available in the private sector, which means fewer people are actually being employed. If you don't work for the government, you are subsidizing the new jobs in this report. And a huge percentage are people who are working for the highest rates in American history, 2, 3, 4 jobs. That's the jobs report. So why you are living something that they're lying about, I get it. Sometimes you feel like, I know it's not true, but I don't know how it's not true. The references are available. These are people working 2, 3, 4 jobs and government jobs. That's just taxpayer dollars.
Between the part-time job and the full-time job. You say 6,000 full-time jobs lost? Those are the jobs that are paying the benefits, the health benefits, paying for the 401k, the retirement plans.
Right.
These other jobs aren't paying any of that shit.
No.
You don't create jobs out of whole cloth.
Right.
Something has to be, there's a need there. A house has to be painted.
Right.
You don't create, they don't understand that on the left.
Well, they just say shovel ready. So, for example, this
Yeah,
happened with
a
FDR.
shovel.
Well, government creates nothing.
No, they create nothing.
That's right.
They just take from other people, right? They can't bake more pies. They're just a fixed pie. And then they say, we got to take more of this person's piece of the pie so we can buy votes by giving the next person more pie. People think that FDR was this great president. The New Deal failed, okay? It skyrocketed prices, bureaucracy. It decreased competition. These shovel-ready jobs, there's actually people who are watching right now. If you're in Michigan, you probably know this. In our family, we call them up north trees. But if you start driving to northern Michigan, and I'm sure this exists probably in New England as well, you see these trees that were planted. And these trees, they almost look like the sort of toadstools in Super Mario, where they're slim and a little bit of brush at the top. And the reason is these were basically government jobs where they said, go and plant trees. They weren't arborists. They just planted a bunch of trees too closely so they actually couldn't grow in. So these you will see entire forests of special needs trees, but that's shovel-ready jobs. And you know what? There's an incentive to make it inefficient because, hey, you know what would create more shovel-ready jobs, meaning just taxpayers fund it? Instead of using augers and instead of using modern technology, go plant trees with this spoon. Now 20 of you are required for shovel-ready jobs. How often do you see road work being done, construction, you see one person working and 20 people smoking a cigarette? Baseline budgeting, government jobs. There's an incentive to make it inefficient so you can claim that more jobs have been created and they're only living off the taxpayers' teat. That's the truth about the jobs report. Here's another truth that I think is very important. Even after everything I've told you, this report is as good as it's going to be. It's only going to get worse. 11 of the last 13 jobs reports have had to be revised down. The media doesn't really talk about that. They try and falsely portray it as positive on the outset, and even then it's pretty tough to do. Here's another claim that they're making as they go a little bit more broad. It's not necessarily the specifics, but sentiment. Your lives are better now under Vice President Biden, right? Right? Please tell me they're better.
3 consecutive years of economic growth in Biden's 3 years in office, and along with more jobs come consistently higher wages. There's no way to paint this as anything but good.
I'm going to give it a shot. So,
give me a paintbrush.
Yeah, tell me what your metric is. I'll give you mine. I think pretty key, since you said average wages. Average incomes. We have 8 years of Barack Obama. We have really 3 years of Trump, but let's call it 4. And then you'll have 3 years of Biden, close to 4. All right. So 8, 4, and 4. Let's round it. Okay. Annual incomes, as far as Barack Obama. The average incomes went up 8 years under Obama, about $1,000, $1,043. Annual incomes under Donald Trump, they went up over $4,000 in only 4 years. Annual incomes under Biden have decreased by $4,200. So wait, if we do that math. That's like $8,000 you've been screwed out of?
Yeah.
My math?
I think, I don't know. That's like
give or take.
Plus the 4,000 minus the 42.
So see, that to me sounds bad, but Xerxes told me I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, he is a big newsman.
Yes, he is. In conclusion, none of this is accurate. There are more jobs. Nope. We just went through that. Oh, inflation is down. No. Your life is better under Biden than under Donald Trump because your wages have gone up. Nope. And it's going to have to be revised and be worse than you're hearing right now anyway.
The supermarket is the bullshit detector.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And the pump.
Yeah. Well,
and the pump.
You expect the spin from all these contributors and network folks, but not from the podling. That's not her job to apologize and to explain away.
That's right.
Yes.
You know? That's not her role. I mean, all these roles in government now have been politicized to where, I mean, she should be just the facts, ma'am. You know,
she's been lying to us for how many years now? Every time she opens her mouth,
she's lying. Yeah,
they got to be giving media training to these people, the Faucis of the world, the Yellens of the world.
You know what they do?
She's used to getting along on her good looks, but she's got to start. She is telling the truth.
Yeah, looking like fat olive oil. From
she's Newt Gingrich with AIDS.
Yes,
I'm telling you.
That's right. That's right.
I think that, you know what they do with all these stories? They get, they're correcting them a year later, whether it's the laptop and shit.
Yeah.
They come out against whatever the truth is, and they mark it on their phone. You know, I have that calendar, and it pings, tells you got something to do.
Right.
And then a year later, they go, okay, now we can tell the truth.
Yeah,
about
now we
it.
can tell the
It's
truth.
not a threat.
Yeah.
Right?
There was just that article you and I were talking about at NPR, someone who works there, who said, yeah, we were given the order from the top to not discuss the Hunter Biden laptop story because we knew that it would hurt the Bidens during the election. And he said, like, we used to be liberal at NPR, but we weren't hack activists. I mean, this is someone who still works at NPR. It's widely, when you say they need to get media training, here's why Yellen doesn't. Here's why Fauci doesn't. Here's why Biden doesn't. For the same reason that this is the only place where we do This Week in Biden. This is the only comedy show that's even going to attempt it. They've done it with every single president.
Right.
I know there's nothing particularly original about that. He says something stupid. You clip it together. We have a laugh. You feel shame sometimes. But the point is, at least we're giving it. We're giving it an attempt. They don't even expect the media to fact check them. Ever. They don't expect to be called to the mat. Ever. They have had such a free pass for so long, whether it's media, whether it's not being questioned in our higher education establishments, whether it's in the NIH, whether it's by the three-letter agent. They have no expectation. Hollywood, they've had a stranglehold on it, so they're not used to having to defend their ideas at all. They really aren't. And so Yellen doesn't realize that someone's going, when she says, actually, inflation is down, she doesn't realize that someone's going to say, yeah, that's a lie. Yeah, we can say that.
Well, this little thing came along called the internet.
Right?
That fucking, now,
And that's why they want a stranglehold on that.
That's right. That's exactly right.
That's why they have
And it was
meetings.
invented by them anyways, and it backfired on them.
Yeah, well, I think Al Gore invented it.
Yes,
I
I know.
him tell it.
I know.
Yeah.
The information superhighway.
Yes, yes, where you can play Mortal Kombat with a friend in Vietnam. My point is this. There's rarely been a moment in history right now where people have this. We haven't had it in our lifetime. I've talked about this. If you compare George Herbert Walker Bush, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, even if you go through Barack Obama, kind of two sides of the same coin, right? No one has really seen a much more conservative or limited government or free enterprise approach contrasted with a very heavy-handed government approach. That's kind of why you saw Reagan, for example. You had young people who had seen Nixon. They had seen Nixon, right? They had seen Carter. They had seen these changes, and they said, oh, wait a second. Yeah, we see the difference. We've lived through it. They had Jimmy Carter. They had Ronald Reagan. They became more conservative. Yep.
That was me.
You lived it, and you said,
I was in high school watching Jimmy Carter. I wasn't even following politics.
Right.
Going, holy shit.
And then you saw Reagan said, oh, there's a difference.
Yeah.
Right,
exactly.
a contrast.
Absolutely.
We have
Got your first car and gas lines.
Yep.
That's right.
Gas lines. People
Speaking of gas lines, the CNN says O.J. Simpson dead at 76. Is that his age, or did he die at a gas station?
Probably both.
Oh, by the way, before we go to Mug Club, when we go to Mug, I wanted to tease a little bit. We got a story. Rashida Tlaib is having a meltdown over not condemning the Death to America chants. We can talk about it on Mug Club if you want.
But she's having a meltdown because she didn't condemn it and people are mad at her?
People are mad at her for not condemning the Death to America chants.
Oh, wow. Do we have a video of her?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we'll do that on Mug Club. We'll do chat Thursday. But I will say this. I don't know. I haven't seen the video. I'm imagining she's off-putting.
I think she's still on the pudding.
Okay. All right. Yes. That's her blood type.
I've seen her. I've seen those hips.
Fairness to her, she was busy planning a mass shooting in a synagogue. Yeah. She really didn't have time to.
Yes. Yes.
Whoops, I'm sorry.
But you said you had Carter and Reagan. Let's be honest. You don't really get that contrast with Bush and Clinton. They were pretty similar. Obama, Trump. Biden. You have a very, very clear contrast. People have seen it, and the reflection, it's reflected. You see the public reflection, certainly in polls with Black Americans, Latino Americans, or Hispanic Americans. I'm not going to say Latinx because it's stupid. You see it with younger Americans. People, for the first time, have seen a contrast. Now you can have that conversation. This has opened the door for you, even if you're not involved in politics day to day. Go, well, 8 years of Obama, 4 years of Trump, 4 years of Biden. Where were you better off? And you go through three categories. You go through the economy, you go through global affairs, how many new wars, and you talk about how divided America. You really think America was more divided under Trump? You really think culturally we were worse off? Did he try and jail anybody? Did you feel like your speech was being silenced? The economy, everyone knows that it's been a disaster under really anyone going back to the first term of Barack Obama outside of those years of Donald Trump. No new wars. They'll have to acknowledge that. Even Code Pink would have to impale themselves on that fact, and that no one's been arrested or silenced by Donald Trump, but that has happened right now to political dissidents. You have that contrast. Don't absolve yourself of the responsibility. There is a real opportunity at this moment, this time in history, where people are looking for someone to explain to them the contrast. People watch CNN. They watch MSNBC. They go, hold on a second. They're saying that there are more jobs. I have a friend who got laid off. I saw this factory close. Wait a second. They're saying inflation is down. I'm paying over 26% more for groceries. I can't fill up my car. People who haven't been involved politically. This happened in COVID. You're going to have this in this election cycle. Please listen and comment below if you've seen this with family members. They're going, I see them saying this. I'm not a political guy or girl or Z. So I kind of know that's not true, but I don't know how to explain myself. Give them a hand. It'll change their life, and if enough of you do it, it will change the country. The worst that can happen is they call the ACLU. It's pretty bad. Hope you have deep pockets. If you're watching on Rumble, click that button right now. We're going to continue with Rashida Tlaib and Chat Thursday. I know the Masters are starting. I don't know if we're talking about it. And if you're on YouTube, obviously we're not going to continue here on YouTube, but let's all take a moment of silence before we leave to YouTube to honor one of the greats among us, O.J. Simpson.